Good day. Do you have a piece of land a bit like this one that you need to clear, you need to clean it up completely, but you don't know what to do, where to start, what tool to use? Well, stay with me, I'm showing it to you. The idea will be that your land later look like this. So for this, I'm going to show you first the tools that we're going to be using, and then after I will show you the step-by-steps on how to enter that land and clear it. These are what we will need for this job. We will need a chainsaw and we will need a brush cutter. Now I will show you a bit more in details which one we need exactly. Let's talk about the chainsaw first. So obviously I would advise you to go for a good brand, a known brand, like Stihl or Husqvarna. Why not the other brands? Because the other brands tend to break down a lot. These don't. So this one, for instance, I've got it for the past maybe 7-8 years. It never failed me, never. So it's well worth the price. Personally, I bought it new, but you can have yours second hand if you don't have so much money to invest. So why I've picked that model, for instance, that model because it's not too small and it's not too big either. So weight-wise, it's okay. If you want to work the entire day with it, it won't tire you so much. Okay. I would advise you as well to change the chain and to place a chain like this one. If you look at my other video, I've made a video about this. These ones don't need to be filed, so the only thing you need to worry about is not to touch any stone. Apart from that, the chain will cut and cut and cut. It's absolutely beautiful. Okay, so now let's talk about the brush cutter. Here we have the brush cutter. So I know it's a Stihl, which is good, but it's absolutely not adapted for the type of job. So why this one is not adapted? Well, first because the engine is very small, so it's definitely not adapted for that type of land and what we need to cut. As well, the head is very small, so even if you remove the wire and fit that type of blade that very often we find with those machines, highly likely you will break the head because the material we need to cut is too strong for the machine. Okay, so you will need to go for really a top of the range Stihl or Husqvarna. I know these are expensive, not to say very expensive, but second hand you will find some at good prices. So have a look and get it. Those big machines, we can fit them with what we call a shredding blade. So it's flat and it's curved on each side. What's the advantage of this? The advantage of this is because we're going to use now a very powerful machine, the machine cuts and shred everything at the same time. So we save time because if you were to use a blade like this one, for instance, it will cut only. Then you will have later to collect everything that you've cut, which is a double job. Now with this, it will be all shredded, and that's it. You leave it like that, and it will be actually good for the earth. Okay. So what we're gonna do now, we're gonna pick a piece of land that we're gonna mark, and I will show you how we're gonna start working on it and clear it. I've selected that part of land to clear. Why? Because there's a bit of everything here. That's what I like. We've got some grass, we've got some bushes, we've got some trees, we've got an olive tree, we've got pine trees, we've got various varieties of pine trees. We've got a bit of everything. So that's the perfect example. Okay. I've seen on some videos that some people start first with the chainsaw. Personally, I don't do that. Why I don't do that? Because, for instance, the olive tree that's here, I'm gonna keep it. So the pine tree next to it will have to go. Now, if I wanted to cut it, I will have a lot of bushes around that will disturb me. That won't be easy to work with the chainsaw. So that's why I prefer to clean the land first and after I've got all the space in the world to cut the branches or cut trees if necessary. And as well, later when we want to recover the wood that we've cut, it's so much easier when the land is cleared. Okay, so anyway, I will start with the machine now, and you will see the importance to have a machine that's quite powerful. Let's start shredding everything, but before I would like to remind you that security is very important, so wear gloves, helmet, nice trousers and security boots, very important. Many accidents happen because people don't take the security measures, and bingo. These machines are very powerful, they throw away things very at very large distances, so obviously if you have to work with someone, never shred everything in front of that person. That's very, very dangerous. Always work from the back, okay, to the other person. Okay, let's start. As you can see, there's a big difference from before and now. So now it's clear, now we can work with a chainsaw. Now, of course, if you wish to keep small trees like those, or this one, of course you're not going to use the chainsaw. We're going to use something like that, and that will be done. Now we're gonna use the chainsaw. So for instance, as I told you before, there's an olive tree here that I would like to keep. Those trees are way too close. I will have to chop them off, okay? That's why it's important to have it cleared around the tree, because if there's some stones and stuff like that, we won't damage the chain, okay? As well, just cut slightly above the earth, because I've seen some people with a chainsaw, they use it nearly to turn over the soil, which is not his main thing, okay? So I'm gonna take care of those small ones, which is easy. We'll cut them at the base, and after I will show you how to cut the pine tree. It's much better now, but now time to cut the tree. It's quite high, so now if you're not sure about cutting trees, you have to be very careful. Obviously, where it falls, obviously it will be best if you make it fall that way. If it's perfectly straight, be careful what's around, if there's wind, stuff like that. So anyway, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna make it fall that way. Okay, so I'm gonna make a cut, and after I will cut it behind. So basically I will make an angle like that, and I will make my cut slightly above, okay, and the tree should fall very nicely. Let me show you now. The way the tree fell is actually very nice because it's not on the floor. So now I will be able to use this to cut all the branches and then slice the tree itself, okay? Now you may wonder as well why I've cut so high the tree. Well, very simple, because like that it's easier for me, I've got it on hand. And then once it's down, after it's very easy to cut it at the bottom. There's no risk whatsoever that the tree will fall or stuff like that. It's just for security measure. So now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna remove all the branches and then slice the tree. Tree is now cut, and as you can see now, that tree will blossom very nicely because there's no other trees around. It will be able to grow beautifully, because when you look at other trees like those ones behind, there's two, one next to each other, and you see they grow very finely because they don't have the space. So personally I like to give 5-6 meters around each tree, that way they blossom nicely. Okay, so as you see as well, it's much better to cut everything before, to shred everything before, like that. After, to clean is much better. For instance, now those branches, we can come with a car, a trailer, load them in and dispose of them very nicely. Same thing for the wood. To collect it, it's so much better now than if we had all the bushes. Okay, so that's it. Now the leftover that's on the ground, simply leave it like that, because that will eventually decompose with the time, and that will be actually very good for your soil. Okay, so anyway, I hope that you have liked the video, and we'll see each other in the next one. Take care of yourself. Ciao.